Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Empower Podcast. We have another special guest for you here. Hello, special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself? Take us away.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Brett, for that. Hello, my name is Sabrina Martinez. I'm happy to be here and share a little bit about me and my experience in my nursing career. So a little bit about me, I'll make it quick. I was born in Morocco, came to the U.S. at 5. Had some hardships in my life. My dad died at 2 months. Grew up with a single mom, pretty in poverty. And then after high school, I decided to go to college and I became a nurse. And through my experience with nursing, I kind of knew right away something was off with the system. And because I was firsthand dealing with the system, I saw so many things that just weren't working. And what I noticed was people weren't actually healing. They were just kind of maintaining, if anything, getting worse because of all the side effects, the pills they just keep adding to the list. And so I began travel nursing. And when I was travel nursing in Colorado, I think I had experienced one of the worst situations with a patient, and I just felt really helpless. And I just kept thinking, there has got to be different things out there than just like this system or the pills and all the pharmaceuticals. And that was also when I started with Landmark and just kind of continued with my personal growth. And then around when I was 25, at the same time that I was on this travel nurse assignment, I had kind of been introduced to more of the spirituality healing world. And that just really piqued my interest because I got to meet some shamans. I did some different stuff, and it opened up a whole new world of healing for me. And I realized, oh my goodness, there are so many other healing modalities out there besides just the pharmaceuticals and the surgeries where we just cut out your colon right away and don't even look at what your diet is, what's your lifestyle, how's your emotional state. Like we don't, in Western medicine, we do not look at the holistic approach. We actually just look at the symptoms and put a Band-Aid over it most of the time. And what my true passion is getting to the root of what is actually causing this and how can we shift that, maybe stop it, cure it, treat it. And I just find that I truly believe your diet is the number one thing, and your emotional health is one of those main things too. And something that I just learned through the workshops and retreats I've done and everything is I learned that, your emotional trauma that you've been through as a kid in life, if you don't deal with it in the moment, it actually gets stored and later on will show up as a physical symptom. And so I know that sounds a little bit crazy to some people, but there are things out there that show you people who don't express emotions or don't cry or just keep their hearts closed end up with either some sort of heart disease or something that is so constricting to your body that results in some sort of health disease. And that really just sparked my mind. And then I started getting into Joe Dispenza. I don't know if anyone has heard of him, but his story is remarkable. He's a neuroscience surgeon, and he had gotten into an accident, really bad bike accident, did not want to go the Western medicine route, which really piqued my interest because he was a surgeon and he had refused to get the surgery that he was doing to others for himself. I don't know how the details, I don't remember, but he basically tapped into meditation and started meditating and rewiring his body by constant meditation. I'm talking 3 hours a day, he said, for days. But he ended up healing his back. He did other stuff too, but never chose the Western medicine route. And since that story, I have kind of just let go of believing in Western medicine. I myself don't really even go to the general practitioners. I always pay out of pocket for my healing modalities. And I know that's one of the challenges for people out there, that it is expensive, right, to pay out of pocket for these healing modalities that actually work. But I always say that if you're willing to pay more now for your health, I know good food is expensive. I know good treatment and the other holistic modalities are expensive. But what's it going to cost you in the long run? If you don't do any of that now and continue where you're at and feeling the way you're at and just going to do the pharmaceuticals, it will cost you a lot more in the long run. So that all that kind of led me. I became a life and health coach, and now I am on the journey with my partner to coach specifically right now. We're working with men on all of this, but we really, really focus on the emotional piece and the mental piece, and we fit in the physical piece as well. So we're kind of doing a holistic approach of coaching for men on whatever they're dealing with. Now, we're not doctors, so it's like if you're dealing with cancer, that's not the type of client we're working with, but it's more of like people who have never been able to actually emotionally express themselves, or don't even know what the emotional intelligence level is, and see themselves stuck in these patterns and cycles mentally and emotionally and spiritually and energetically. And we see what's the root that caused that pattern, and how do we break it so you can actually step into that higher version of yourself and start taking care of yourself in a way that really matters and have longevity.
Yeah, I do want to come in here. Yeah, that was great, Sabrina. That was very thorough, and I do want to. That was just the introduction, folks. We haven't even gotten to the juicy question yet. I just want to be a heads up. So nothing wrong here, too, Sabrina. We wanted to make time too for any individuals or organizations or furry friends or that really truly make a difference at your time, or have even since beginning in nursing, as you stated, all the way up till present day.
Okay, so my acknowledgments will go to, I'm grateful for my nursing experience. So acknowledgement to UMass Boston for giving me great nursing and clinical. Acknowledgement for the first hospital I ever worked at Mass General Hospital, then Brigham and Women's, big top hospitals in Boston, really taught me a lot. I want to acknowledge all the coaches that have helped me through my journey, all the workshops I've done, all the retreats, my family, my partner who's been rock solid by me through this journey, and anyone else who has been part of my journey that made a difference, even if it was just a minute in my life.
Wow. And you know who and they would know who they are, right?
They would know.
They would know. All right. And even if they don't,
know.
They would know. Wow. All right. So here we go. What's happening in health and wellness? What's happening in healthcare? Let's lean in even more. Sabrina, here we go.
All right. Oh, am I just telling you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, take us away.
Oh.
You're good. I can edit that. Don't worry about that. Hold on, stop.
So
Give it like 2 seconds. Give it like 2. Hold on 1 second. You're good.
All right. So today in the health and wellness area, what I've noticed from my perspective, now remember, my perspective is not the truth, it's just my truth. So in my opinion, what's happening today is I'm seeing people waking up to realizing that the healthcare system is just not working for them. And people are starting to wake up with all these other healing modalities that are coming out and seeing results. Because in the last 5 years since I've been on this journey, back then when I would mention some of the holistic stuff, people thought it was like, what are you talking about? But I've noticed in the last year, it has significantly become more, popular, because I'm interacting with people, even at work, who are nurses, and they know that I'm into the spiritual hippie healing modalities. And they're telling me I'm going to see a naturopath. And I'm just like, wow. They said that their doctors couldn't help them. They got all their labs done. Nothing showed that something was off, but yet they're still having the symptoms. And basically Western medicine just kind of threw some medication on them that made it worse. And this is a common story that I'm seeing with the people who are now looking outside of the box. How can I help myself? Because Western medicine is failing me. And so right now it feels like a really big pivoting point where people are going to start to see, people are aware that our food is killing us and there's so much bad ingredients in it. So now there's all these different diets out there, and I think the awareness is just at a huge pivoting point right now, for people to wake up and realize, you have the power to heal yourself, and you cannot count on Western medicine, unfortunately. And this is not to put down any doctor, any Western medicine practice. I actually don't even think it's their fault, unfortunately. You have to dig a little deeper. This goes back to the root. Where's the root of all this? And unfortunately, it's in the education that's set up for these practitioners, right? It's all a system that's built on, here's the symptoms and here's what you give them. And that's personally, I know that from doctors because I've asked what their training is. And unfortunately, doctors don't even get any training on nutrition. I think they have to take one nutrition class.
I had one class.
Basic. It's
I had one class for
tomato has
nutrition.
vitamin C.
Right. I had one class for nutrition in nursing school, and that was it. Did you have one?
Insane.
Yeah.
So I had one like in the beginning
Yep.
from like
Agreed.
you know, your prereqs.
Yep. Nothing else integrated in. We just, after that, it seems we just delved into the complexity of the body, which is I think one of the most complex things on the planet. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with no roadmap nutritionally or any of that. Every once in a while, we'll hear about the particles, your basic electrolytes, sodium, potassium, and whatnot, but nothing about nutrient-dense foods and what you can get from them in your fats, carbohydrates, or even reviews, or even more of a lean-in, right? We just had a glance, I guess is the best way I would say it for myself. It's a glance, not a lean-in. Which then leads to a bigger impact. At least for me as a nurse, I feel I could have, not to say I didn't make a big impact. I'll acknowledge I did make a big impact. I can only imagine the impact that would have been made if I would have been able to also speak of nutrition, on nutrition. Even then, there was also I'm getting ahead of quotes here, let food be thy medicine. It's being put on products now too. So yeah, keep going. Yeah, that's something that occurred for me during your share. It was a very genuine, authentic share.
Yeah, no, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, so I'm also a true believer in nutrition is health. Like I know personally, I've been dealing with a skin and gut issue, and I have seen, I'm going to say over 50 practitioners for it, and no one can seem to help me. And this is a cool fact. So recently, I did my outside of the box thing again and found this company who's running women's wellness, and they, you have to pay out of pocket for your labs, but the labs that they were drawing, I had never had drawn in my prior experience. And this is a cool fact too. So, everyone gets their hemoglobin checked, right? And my hemoglobin was borderline low. And usually in medicine, you're saying, oh, like you're low on oxygen or whatever they say. But what this taught me in this holistic practice was when your hemoglobin's a little bit low, what it actually shows is your gut is not healed. And I had never heard that. And that is not something they teach us in Western medicine. And so what came down to it, all these labs that were off that I was being told different things, this company was like, we need to heal your gut. You have leaky gut syndrome. And I was like, oh my goodness, this makes sense because I've been told to stay away from certain foods and I wasn't seeing results. And people would tell me for certain, this is what you have. And I would try the modalities and it wasn't working. So this share is really to just open your eyes up of how much, what Western medicine, it's not that they're bad or anything. They're just not taught how to interpret some things that actually can help you. Mm-hmm. It's the system that they're stuck in, right? They're boxed into a system that's not working.
I want to say it too. It almost sounds like this is an older story. You have to look it up. We all know it as Five and Below now, but it's almost like a five and dime. Like the Western system is you get almost just below the baseline of what it is you need, and then you're discharged. Or you just figure out whatever baseline symptoms are, and it could be nausea. I'm going to say these ones. It could just be your nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. Okay, here's your antibiotics. You're a walkie-talkie. Right. See you, you're discharged, And and to see that even then, I don't know how to say it beyond this, from what I've discovered, is the next brain that we're discovering, if not it is a brain, is our stomachs. It's like the bottom of the ocean floor. Like, we have yet to discover anything really about it, except for what we know a gastroenterologist knows. And recently, I've known people within my own social structure who've gone and also, like you've declared, and seen other practitioners, and they're saying the one thing, or they're not doing the specific labs, and there's no continuity of conversation amongst all these practitioners that, I guess, went to these schools that have these organizations that collectively say that they have a degree, but somehow there's this distinction in their own practice, which I get. Like, you should be able to make it your own, if it's your own business and whatnot. But again, then it's the overall quality of life and the other variables that you need to be able to have, which is not only just timely care, but I think not just efficient care, but then informed care, so that we as consumers, as even I feel you're doing as well, as making more data-driven decisions yourself and seeing what it looks like on the other end of insurance. Because even then, that's a whole other system. Is if what is it? You go to Dr. A, they pay for Dr. B. You get sick on Monday through Thursday, they only pay for Thursday through Saturday. You break your arm, they only fix your head. So, and it's like, and even then at the baseline, I want to keep coming back to that too. And to see that you are, from what it sounds like too, from your distinction, stepping away from the baseline, I would say of Western medicine, do you feel that these other practitioners are more invested into you as the individual and looking at you as a whole versus just the overall issue that some people may present to the ER with?
Brett, 1000%. And the biggest difference that I can tell you I notice is when I have an initial consult for a new practitioner, let's say it's a Western medicine, I might get 10, 15 minutes with them. Whereas these holistic, I don't know what, holistic, non-insurance or whatever, sometimes not covered, I've had at most like 3-hour consults where they are asking me questions like down to the T of like, were you a C-section baby or a vaginal birth baby?
Yeah.
That actually was significantly, I was a C-section baby and found out when you're a C-section baby, you don't get this vaginal fluid that you're supposed to swallow out of the canal that protects your gut. And I had meningitis as a 1-month-old baby, probably because I didn't get that for my gut and my immune system was very, very bad.
Yeah, and you're educated enough to want to trace that, to look at the root, like you said too, to look at the root.
Yeah, look at the root. And so she basically said this is probably where a lot of your gut issues and skin issues stem from, is we have to heal your gut. And it all went back to my birth. It was amazing.
Yeah, and to see somebody wanting to trace back, because we as humans live life in measure, and it seems too, you're up to something in declaring this too. The main baseline practitioner will pick you up wherever it is you're at in the process, whether it's chronic this or multiple comorbidities is occurring all at one time. But in this case, they're not just they're fine-tuning in, looking at you, and then trying to also look, and this is what I was also told, is we have this thing called the medical record, is where do these practitioners, when someone is admitted, pick up in the medical record? Because I've even had a time where, I'll never forget it, it was when I was out in Oregon. There was a patient, had just been down, had a history of cancer, so mental health as well. And they're all wondering, what's going on with her? What's going on with her? What's going on with her? And I pull up her record. I was like, all right, let's see. When was the last mental health note? When was the last thing that they said? Oh, she had a breakdown here. Oh, look at that. You guys. And then I went back, told the practitioners, did you guys know that she had this occur about a week ago? Yeah, no, we didn't know. Where'd you find that? And then it's this, right? And they can't be perfect. I want to say too, either process, we still want progress and not perfection. There is a distinction there too. At the same time, I think there still is integrity of the systems too, that we can declare as ourselves and say how it is, good, bad, or indifferent for the system. So.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100% with you.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
In your discoveries too, have you had to travel to see these practitioners? They're not local. Some of these, right? I'm looking for barriers if people were to look into this route. If you wanted to share and any of your discoveries that you've had, like
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's gotten in the way? What's gotten?
I'm currently living in Massachusetts, and there's a couple of naturopath doctors in the Boston area. I personally see a chiropractor who also does craniosacral work, and she's in the Western Mass area. So I typically can find them wherever I am, even when I was a travel nurse, like if I was in Colorado or California or wherever it was, I was able to find it. But it wasn't just like you do a little Google map search. I kind of had to dig a little bit and really look into it. And then I have traveled for certain like treatments or retreats. Like I go to Mexico often for some spiritual retreats and workshops. Because those aren't easy to find actually in my area in Western Mass. But sometimes you do have to, and I guess it all depends where you are is the best answer I can give you. And if you're willing to kind of look around, and if you are willing to drive maybe an hour or two, because I will drive the 2 hours to Boston from where I live to go see the naturopath doctor.
Mm-hmm. For that 3-hour appointment versus 15 minutes. And I've had patients that'll go for the 15-minute and they'll drive in an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours just for that appointment. So I can only imagine with that one too. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's so worth it. But, it also is, I am very committed to myself and my health and my growth. So that, I think, has a big factor in it, because if you are very committed, you're almost like, you're unstoppable, right? The possibility
I want to say that too
for endless.
Right. I want to say that for listeners. Don't be intimidated by Sabrina. Remember, she was a registered nurse. Like I'm a registered nurse too. Like step in, try this on. Like see if the shoe fits. It doesn't mean you have to go full throttle, and you're not saying that either, right, Sabrina? Don't go full throttle.
Right. No,
and I get that. Yeah, I want them to know that we are just empowered people. Yeah.
Sorry?
I said we're just empowered about our health, and that's why they may come. I've discovered in what is it called, the listening, how other people hear us, is we may come off as intimidated. That's not what I want to come off as, but I want to come off as empowered, right?
I hope I don't love that.
No, you're coming off as empowered to me, and I think that's what you're trying to present, right?
Yes.
That's it. Awesome.
I also will empower You know, when you want to make change, I will, from my personal experience, please don't try to do it all at once, because there is something in the psychology of like when you're stuck in a pattern or a cycle, your mind is comfortable in that certain place. So when you try to change too much at once, you know, I can get deeper into like your ego freaks out and wants to keep you safe in survival mode. So it will do what it can to keep you in the same cycles. But if you can just change one little thing at a time, micro changes, and let your body catch up to that change and get comfortable, and let your mind know we're safe, we're okay, but we need to switch this. And so it really just takes one thing at a time, because you don't want to deprive yourself of so much and then eventually just give it all up.
Yep. Progress, not perfection. What is it? That
Right.
easy does it. Easy does it. Yeah. Easy does it. Yeah.
Easy does it.
Yeah. I like it. But it'll add up in the end. You know, a bunch of easy does it's will definitely be something that's that's definitely come from where it was. That's the best way to really say it, because there will be that. It's just what that looks like for some of us. It may be small steps, it may be big steps, but at the same time too, it's still the journey. I think there's still the journey.
Yeah.
I want to acknowledge
Yeah.
the work that not only you're doing for yourself, but then I want to step into the community aspect that you were. I know, again, you were saying that you're creating with your partner, and I want to acknowledge that at least that your partner, being a man, wants to go back and give back to his community, and in the way that this is. And I don't know what the challenge was. I don't know what the conversations that you all had. I wasn't there, but what I can say is there's definitely a need for it, and it's to be one of those conversations that's out there. Whether this month is Pride Month for someone, or whether this month is Mental Health Awareness for Men's Month, there's still the impact I think that we should be able to take away and what it looks like, and still being able to have those conversations, because 10, 20 years ago, 50 years ago, this was dust that was just swept under the rug. And to see the impact that it can have, not only just in the sense of being itself, but wanting to exist within a community and even in a relationship. If someone wants to be in their own personal relationship with it. And to see that, I mean, the work has to be done. We all have our own blind spots, and that you guys are looking to take that initiative to, if that's the phrase that you use, to point those out, to allow others to discover those, and to see really kind of what can get in the way, and not just have it be a physical thing or a linguistic thing that has a context around it. It could be their own emotion. It could be their own sense of being. It could be, I don't know how to say it beyond that. It's the others, the others. It's the other stuff. Because it's its own. It's a fingerprint experience for each person, I think. But it's if they get that time or place, and we were discussing earlier, it's theory, of course, that the body's keeping count. I don't think that part's theory, but the other part beyond that is to see that it will show up, and that's not a discussion we had. We're not looking. I tell you what, I wasn't looking for. I don't know how to say it. A blue ear, right, which can be a sign of not having good blood flow. I wasn't looking for that because of someone's trauma when they were 7 when they fell off a bike. Could it be connected? I'm not saying it can't, but I mean, this is the area of discussion I think we're up against now. And Eastern and Western medicine have butted heads against this kind of stuff. And we, the people, I think, are curious. We want them to have that conversation now. We're fed up. We're fed up with one or the other. So I feel, and if I'm wrong, let me know. But
I think you're right.
Yeah, and to see what happens, not just for the business aspect, but for the overall collective aspect. Because more and more people are wanting quality of life, wanting to find that purpose. Whether the purpose was beyond what they discovered on their last few shifts at their job that they worked 30 plus years at, and now they're like, this is what I want to do with my life, and that it matters, and to see that it matters, and to see the purpose, the matter, and to still have the overwhelm, still have the anxiety, still have the drama. That can still all exist, but that's not what's governing, that the action as to what you want to do to make the difference, whatever that is. That what I think is what can govern. And it could be wanting to be in a relationship, wanting to learn to ride a bike, or whatever it may be. And if you don't have bikes in the country, wanting to learn to swim. If you don't have areas to swim, wanting to learn to run or learn to walk or whatever it may be. Because I think it's that constant discovery that some people, when we lack purpose, I feel, and what I've discovered personally, is when you discover that, is to see what it is you truly want. What's truly been in here that you wanted to bring out into the world and to create, or at least to be a part of. And that's just one conversation that can be had around that. So there can be other conversations too. So that was a lot. I just threw a lot at you. But
well said. No, very well said. I mean, I'm with you there. So I appreciate your feedback or whatever.
Yeah.
Your
No, it's good. And I want to declare this.
Your message that you're sending out is just huge. So I really appreciate what you're doing for society.
Yeah, not alone but together. And I want to acknowledge too. Whether you identify as a man, it's okay to not be okay this month. It's okay to not be okay this year. And whoever you are, whether you're a man or you're not, it's okay to do that. It's okay to tell the people in your social structure how it is that you feel. Of course, don't be looking at hurting yourself or others. That's when you would have the conversation. Aside from that, though, have those. Let people know how it is you feel. You'd be surprised what could come out of that. It may be the initial knee jerk, like you had said, too. The ego will get in the way. But I found this out, too. Ego and growth, they don't exist at the same time. They can't. They don't like each other. For some reason, they both get in the way of each other. It's like the unstoppable force. I'm quoting the Joker here. The unstoppable force meeting the immovable object, right? And it's to see that what it looks like and when it comes into the lens, too. Because sometimes the ego, it likes to hide. It likes to hide. But when it comes out to play, sometimes you could be like the ego, or you could play, and maybe the ego then becomes growth. It's I don't know. It's its own circumstantial experience. That's just one example. So
yeah, no, it's so true. It's like becoming friends with your ego and not letting it drive, but having it be there as a little bit of a support. You know, it's a dance. It's all a dance.
I dig it. Life is a dance, and they say that
life is a dance.
Yeah, they say certain physical activity can help you live longer, right? So does that theory that dancing could help us live forever, Sabrina? I don't know. We'll have to find it out. We'll have to find it out.
Dancing is very healing.
Yes. Oh my God. And listening's another one that's in there too, and lots of them. Listening, and they can come and they can go, and they can. The power of just, so many people keep things in, and I don't think we understand how detrimental that can be. So just even sharing how you're feeling, whether if you don't want to do it with someone, I always suggest to our clients, get yourself on video and just let it out. Let it rip. No one has to hear it, but just get it out of your body, you know? Yeah. You can even disconnect the internet and still have the video. Look at yourself doing it. Otherwise it's... Yeah. Wow. Yeah. All right. I think we've definitely discussed what is happening in healthcare, and love to have you back if you'd liked your experience here. I'm glad we were able to get this as a possibility. Didn't know if you can close us here with your empowering quote, Sabrina. Yes. So the quote that I chose for today is, I want you all to remember, you are your own medicine and your soul knows the way. Just remember that. Say it again. Bold request. I said, okay, you are your own medicine. The soul knows the way. Just remember that. And this has been a successful episode here with Sabrina. Thank you all very much, and bye for now.